Hello and welcome to HBTV. My name is Samantha Lambert, and today we will be speaking with Mr. Bruce Stagg, who is author of Landslide, the Jack Hickey story. Mr. Stagg is the author of 3 books of fictional short stories, 1 children's book, 1 book of plays, as well as many individual plays. Mr. Stagg is a known storyteller and entertainer, and has already released a storytelling CD. Mr. Stagg is also the author of The Blackwood Schooner, which is a non-fiction Canadian bestseller that was published in 2009 by the Flanker Press and was very well received by readers. Good afternoon, Mr. Stagg.
Good afternoon.
We are very happy to have you here today.
And it's a pleasure to be here.
So I have some general questions about your book. First of all, why don't you give us a little background on yourself?
Well, let me see. I grew up in rural Newfoundland. I grew up in Catalana on the Bonavista Peninsula, a community not so unlike Harbour Breton.
Yes.
I went to high school there. Then I went off to college and did my teacher training and taught for 30 years. Began my writing career as a playwright when I was as I was teaching. I taught theater, English and theater in high school.
Yes.
Realized very early that there was very little dramatic material about Newfoundland, so I started writing plays for my students to produce and to play. And my first book was a book of plays, actually. And then I graduated from writing plays on to writing short stories, Newfoundland humor, and then I got into the nonfiction. From a personal point of view, I'm retired now from teaching. I have 2 daughters, 2 grandchildren, and I guess I can announce 1 on the way.
Oh, that's nice. That's great. So what brought you to write about the landslide in Harbour Breton?
Well, I was here, visited Harbour Breton. My daughter came to Harbour Breton working in the agriculture industry. I was here visiting her, and I just went for a walk one day and went around the community, and I came up on the memorial site up there. I read the storyboards, and all of a sudden it twigged that I could remember something about that. And as I read, I just come off doing The Blackwood Schooner, my previous piece of nonfiction. And it's an interesting story. I did some research after I left the site and talked to some people. I learned that Mr. Hickey, Jack Hickey, was still alive and living in Gander. And I learned that not very much had been written about the landslide. There was something about the site that drew me to it.
Yes.
And the next day I had to go back there again. And it was like I felt something. You know, Samantha, sometimes I think that, writers don't necessarily go looking for stories. Stories come to them.
Right.
And this story sort of came to me, and, I think it needed to be told, and I guess I was just the right person at the right time.
Yeah, that's great. Did you find this book difficult to write, seeing that it is a tragedy?
Yeah, I must say it wasn't an easy write. I consulted Mr. Hickey. Of course, I couldn't write anything without his blessing.
Yes.
Because it was his personal tragedy. After I spoke with Jack and decided that, yes, this is a story that I could tell, Jack made it a lot easier for me, really, because he filled in all the details. And I figured that, well, if he could get through telling the story as attached as he is and was, then I could certainly do it. I don't mind telling you there were times when I was writing that I got a little misty-eyed.
Yes, definitely. Perhaps you would like to read your favorite excerpt from the book.
Okay, well, I don't have a favorite.
No.
But I am doing a reading tonight,
Yeah.
a couple of readings tonight. at the LA premises.
Yes.
So I've selected some for this. I'll just pick one of those.
Sure, that'd be great.
And I'm going to probably pick one that's a little shorter and a little lighter than some of them. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you see, Jack. A lot of people were very good to Jack Hickey and the other victims of the landslide during this tragedy in 1973, and the community came to their assistance. And this is a little reading about just about that.
Okay.
Days later, Jack was sitting in a chair, and Jim Snook was again by his side. Olive, that's Jack's wife, looked at Jack and said, "You're some dirty." "Am I dirty, Jim?" Jack asked. "You still got mud on you," Jim answered. Jack realized that he hadn't washed and showering in the dark at Len's place on the night of the slide. "I'd better clean up," he said. When he stood up to go to the shower, sharp pain shot through his feet and legs. He sat down with a yelp. "What is it?" Jim asked, startled. "It's my feet," Jack answered. Jim pulled off Jack's stockings and inspected his feet. They were inflamed and perforated. He had been too consumed in his own grief to realize or care about his own physical pain. "Looks like nail-os," Jim said. In all the panic and running around that night in his bare feet, Jim had repeatedly stepped on broken boards with protruding nails and was totally oblivious to it. "My God, they're infected," Jim said. Then, like a faithful disciple, he fetched a pail of water and washed and bandaged Jack's feet. "That feels better," Jack commented. If Violet was an angel, then Jim Snook was a saint.
That's touching.
It is, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yes,
it really
yes.
is.
Thank you.
So what's next for you? Anything new?
Well, as a writer, of course, writers are always working at something. Mm-hmm. A book like this, a piece of nonfiction, I don't have anything that I'm working on present. Like I said to you before, sometimes I don't go looking for these stories. Mm-hmm. These sort of stories sort of come to me.
Right.
And I'm sure one of these days I will be somewhere or something will twig my attention, and there will be another story like this one that I will take on for sure.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add?
No, not really, except I really appreciative to the people of Harbour Breton for allowing me into their community to tell such a sensitive story about their history. I'm thankful to the victims of the landslide and the rescuers, again, for allowing me to tell their very personal stories. And of course, I'm very thankful to Jack Hickey and his wife Gertie for allowing me into their lives to tell their story.
Right. Thank you very much for speaking to us today.
Thank you.
And it was a pleasure.
And very, very my pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
They said that Ritalin would help me focus. They lied. Find out the truth about Ritalin abuse. Drugfreeworld.org.
They said prescription painkillers were totally safe. They lied. Find out the truth about prescription painkillers. Drugfreeworld.org.
He claimed over Newfoundland turf for the Queen. I've set my heart on this country so grand, was Gilbert's remarks for he left Newfoundland. Though he never reached Plymouth to tell the good news, his last words spoke more than the truth. We're nearer to heaven by sea, as close to perfection as an island can be. This world has its wonders, but it seems to me we are nearer to heaven by sea. Poets have praised this great country with pride, from its vast rolling prairies to the Rockies so high, and the north with its splendor of river and trees, God's notion of freedom and peace. And off to the east where the Atlantic heaves, our own island shores make the beauty complete. As much in our praise as that great land may be, we are nearer to heaven by sea. We're nearer to heaven by sea, as close to perfection as an island can be. This world has its wonders, but it seems to me we are nearer to heaven by sea. In her eyes there was moonlight, and the rose in her hair. In my arms there was no one, so I put her there. On her lips was a promise, in my heart was a prayer. When I finally went, I went home with the scent of the rose in her hair. On her face there was beauty, a picture to see. In her arms there was someone she loved more than me. In my mind was the vision, so lifelike and clear. When I finally went, I went home with the scent of the rose in her hair.
Hi, my name is Joyce Rose and I'm a youth field worker at the CYN. As a tradition, we offer Newfoundland Day. This is our fifth one, I believe. We're celebrating Newfoundland Day 2012. And I'm just going to give you a little tour about different kinds of food that we have here today. So Dennis, right here we have fish and brews. And we also have potato cakes. And we have salmon cakes. And salmon. Grilled salmon. Over here you'll find a delicious potato casserole, and there are also some potato cakes and fish cakes, I believe. We have some delicious baked beans here. Looks really, really good. In here we have a bologna stew, which is a lot of people's favorite. We have some toutons. We have whole wheat ones, and we have regular ones. We have some dried capelin as well, if anybody's interested. We have a delicious moose stew made there, as you can see. We also have some moose sausages. I think they're only garlic sausages. We have some potato salad. And we have some homemade moose soup. We also have some stewed fish with potatoes and pork and stuff. Newfoundland tradition as well. Over here we have raisin buns donated. And we also have lemon meringue pie. We have some banana loaf, I think it is it? Banana loaf. And we also have some more Newfie buns right here. And of course, you can't have any meal without pickles, beets, crackers, and homestyle bread, right? We also have some tea biscuits, I believe. And we have some more delicious buns here with Parish berry jam. And we have a delicious blueberry crumble cheesecake, I think is what it is. And we also have some purity syrup for you to enjoy with your meal.
Laughter and joy on that fine summer's evening. Children all waited at the old village hall for a rock and roll band to come from the city to play for the dance at their school closing ball. Their fun was short-lived cause the band couldn't make it. It's prompted a shy little fellow to say, let's ask my grandpa to play us some music, cause often I've heard his accordion play. I know he can play our new kind of music, Some songs he can sing are the ones he remembers when he was a boy long, long years ago. A short time later, as the others were waiting, the boy and his grandfather entered the door. He led the old man to a chair in the corner, placed a torn cardboard box by his feet on the floor. The children all cheered as he took the accordion and laid it in place on his grandfather's knee. With trembling hands, his gentle old fingers softly ran over the ivory keys. He said, I can play your new kind of music, but I'll do my best with the music I know. I hope you enjoy the tunes I will play and songs I remember from long years ago. He filled the old place with such beautiful music, the children could hardly believe it was true. They danced through the night, such a time they had never, and the old man smiled as he thought of his youth. His heart filled with joy as he watched the young couple, the boys and the girls in their innocent fun. And he thought of a pretty young golden-haired maiden whose love on a night such as this he had won. He said, I don't know your new kind of music, but thank you for asking this old man to play. It does my heart good and it helps me remember when I was a youth like you are today. God bless you for asking this old man to play. My name is Sandy Hayward. I come from Bay to North. I swear I've been a fisherman since the day that I was born. From a dory to a dragger, to me it mattered none. My comrades all were sailing men, and the ocean was my home. Now the Lord, He's been my captain, that much I know for sure. In proof of which I'm sitting here, and now I'm 84. But the time that I won't soon forget was in April 58. And if the good Lord wasn't on my side, I wouldn't be here today. My story now I'll tell to you as I recall the same. On a dragger out of Mulgrave, I'll ne'er forget her name. She was the Sheila Patricia, Lily Hillier in command. 3 of our crew were Scotia boys, and the rest from Newfoundland. We were sailing to the fishing grounds on a foggy rolling sea. Round 11 o'clock, with all things well, I was catching a little sleep, when all at once the shout went up, our vessels all ablaze, and it soon began to look as if that death would be our fate. The galley stove exploded, that's what caused the raging hell. And our attempts to stop the blaze were all to no avail. And so the Sheila rudderless, with throttle open wide, in helpless circles all afire, the ocean did inscribe. The captain's courage gave some hope in the throes of our distress. He faced the flaming wheelhouse to send out SOS. But then he made a grave mistake, convinced 'twas best to leave. With 6 men moored, went overboard when they cut their lifeboat free. Oh, how we worked to save our friends, but little could we do. We threw them everything we had that they might cling on to try to save the lifeboat crew when shipmate Maxwell Dodge faced the fire to steer, but from cold and fear the 3 died in the fog. For 17 exhausting hours we stared that devil down, till everything on deck was burned, but still we labored on. The Fairbanks stopped, but still the blaze, its fury did ensue. Fully bent on wiping out the Sheila and her crew. Now no one knows Almighty God and what He has in mind. Why, for us trapped on the Sheila's bow, He lengthened out our time. Perhaps it was the spirit of our old friend Billy Dodge. Now 70 years and a life at sea, but he never was lost for long. After 7 more hours, all burnt and bruised, and neither food nor drink, I could plainly see this was our end. What else was there to think? But then about 5:30, out of the mist,